Expecting Sabres forward Jason Zucker today. In the next couple of minutes, we will go to him when he calls. The Sabres are in Pittsburgh tomorrow, and they are on a hot streak here. 4 out of 5 as of late, and they have been playing a lot better in those games. They've played some good teams in those games as well. So things are beginning to look up. At least, again, in the last week or two, things are looking up. Jason Zucker's appearance here on WGR, brought to you by Firth Jewelers. For all the moments in your life, go forth to Firth. Jason now joining us on the Westher hotline. Good morning, Jason. The team is looking better as of late. I want to start, though, with the Beck-Malenstein goal from over the weekend, and if that is the best bench reaction ever when you get a player that scores a goal like that maybe doesn't always score goals.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me. I mean, it was pretty incredible. It was a fun. Obviously, it was a big goal at the time too. Kind of that part of the game, and Mal's a guy that plays extremely hard for us, plays a great game, and is a huge piece of our team. So to see a guy that, like you said, doesn't typically score, highlight real goals, it was pretty fun to watch. SportsCenter
top 10 also the next day. I wondered if he knew. Yeah, I wondered if he knew that it was Aho, a forward, coming at him, or if the game is generally happening too quick. Like from your vantage point, if you were in that situation, if you would know quick enough if it was a forward and not a defenseman.
Most of the time, I'd say not. There are times that we do get to recognize it. Usually, when a D-man pinches down the wall, puck gets, kind of gets by him, and the centerman picks up the puck. A lot of the time, he'll see the forward back, and then you can definitely try to take him on from that way. I think, unless Mal saw that Aho was with him all the way from our defensive zone, that's possible. But a lot of the time it happens so fast it's hard to recognize it.
Jason Zucker with us on the Westher hotline. Sabres have won 4 of 5. You've been in the lineup for the last 2 games. If you would bring us through even any bit of the viral illness that you dealt with, Jason, when we had Lindy on and he was talking about how you couldn't even really eat solid foods. It feels like it was a lot to maybe come back from. And, I mean, really, you got back in the lineup pretty quickly, it felt like, after you began practicing. So, I don't know, like, in your career, how tough is that to deal with versus maybe just a normal injury that you've had?
Yeah, I think the tough part about it is how, really what it does to your body. I lost a ton of weight. As anyone knows, when you're going through any type of illness, it's not fun. You're not enjoying any bit of it. I was, basically on the couch or in bed for 10 straight days. And, my fiance was here taking care of me and getting me anything that I could eat. I was basically trying to eat, Pedialyte popsicles and trying to get something down. That was essentially what I was doing. So it wasn't ideal, that's for sure. But, the good part is once I got back, the first day felt, the first 2 days, I'd say, felt absolutely terrible. They ended up giving me a day off, and coming back after that day off, I felt, a lot better. Was still able to, at least able to finish my skate and feel pretty good after. So luckily it wasn't too long of a runway after, but, again, it's just tough with how much it kills your body. You're out of shape. You feel weak, everything is a little bit tougher, but, luckily was able to kind of come out on the other side of it.
Yeah. Would you still say you're dealing with it a little bit on the day-to-day?
No. Okay. I think I'm back to 100% now. Luckily, my weight's still not all the way up, but I don't feel any ill effects of that. Luckily.
So maybe Thanksgiving coming at the perfect time then to get that all the way back.
Yeah, exactly. That might be the best play.
Yeah. So the group while you were out, watching them, I'm sure while you were out, and then the teams play in the last 5. Are you noticing a big difference between that stretch where there were a lot of losses in there, and part of it was the lineup, right? Dahlin was away for perfectly understandable reasons. You were away. Kulik has still been out. Some of it could be health, but are you noticing a big difference between these last 5 versus the previous 5?
Yeah, I mean, health is obviously a huge part of it. And, every team goes through these injury bugs every year. It's just a matter of when you do. And ours, for whatever reason, decided to do it in the first 20 games. So it's kind of put us in a tougher spot, but there's no excuses, right? You build an organization, you build a prospect pool to make it to where you can withstand these injury bugs and hopefully come out in a decent spot to where when you're healthy, you can kind of go on some runs and really play well. So I think we're in a good spot. One thing I'll say is I think that Detroit game, from watching that and kind of the attitude coming out of that game felt very different. Felt like the guys, that was almost a rally point, I feel, of being down 4-1 against a really tough team and being able to come back and win that game was massive. Then obviously, you can try to build off those things and really try to build your game. And I think that's what we're trying to do.
How much of the two is just Dahlin being back? Like, whether that's the psyche of the team, his play on the ice, obviously, but for him to be dealing with what he's dealing with in his personal life and to still be there for the group, does that seem like that's energized the team too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's our captain for a reason, and obviously he's an unbelievable player. But the one thing that we all forget sometimes is that hockey is just a game, and life is a hell of a lot more important. And so for us, it was great to be able to support him and make sure that he got what he needed in his personal life. And truthfully, I don't care if he was out for 2 months or for 6 months. I would have been extremely happy for him and just checking in on him, making sure everything was fine, and because that's the most important thing. So. But as for having him with us, obviously it's just a massive piece. He's a generational talent. The way he plays the game with such ease and everything he does out there is incredible to watch. So it is nice to have him out there. It's a treat to be playing on the ice with him. Some of the plays that he makes are incredible. So it's definitely fun to be a part of.
Jason Zucker with us on the West Her Hotline. The Sabres have won 4 of 5. The weird thing about this year, Jason, like standings-wise, just maybe around the league, it's very compact where you guys had your struggles and yet still, like, one stretch in you're not only shouting distance from playoff spot, it's early, but even the division because no one's really run away with it there. So I don't know if that's just coincidence, but looking at what you guys have done, feels like a lot of the success at home has helped, and I wonder if that is just feeding off the fans or what it is, but it feels like you guys have definitely played your best hockey when you're at home.
I think so. I think the fans have been great this year. To me, feels like a great bump from last year. They feel excited. They feel like they're really involved in everything and are have been loud. It's been full buildings. It's been really fun to be a part of. So I think the fans are a huge part of that. So hopefully we can continue that home success. We definitely need to figure out our road game a little bit and start changing our record on the road and start being at 500 and hopefully a little bit above 500 on the road. And we're going to put ourselves in a great place if we do that. So, again, to answer your question fully, I think that's been a huge piece. And Key Bank's been a really hard place for teams to come in and play this year.
8 of the next 10 are on the road. Is there anything that comes to mind as to why you think you haven't had road success this year and what maybe needs to be different? Especially, again, 8 of the next 10 could be a pretty big test for that.
I think similar to us when we're at home, right, you get some momentum boost from the fans. You score a goal, the building's loud for a little while. You feel like you're on your heels. It feels like it's just a little bit heavier in there. There's just so many different factors of it. The travel aspect, whether you have back-to-backs, you're flying a couple of hours, you got time changes, you're getting into hotels late. There's so many factors to why the road can be tough. And, every team goes through it, but that's typically why everyone's road record's not as good as their home record, throughout a season. But with that, I think we just need to change our mentality to the game. I think we need to keep it a little bit more simple, especially early in games. I think we've had a lot of games on the road that we've started down, 1 or 2 early in the game. And I think that's really hard to come back from when you're on the road, especially when the fans are into it and you're trying to catch some momentum, but it's hard to do. So I think we need to be a little bit better to start games. I think that'll, kind of transition into being, a better road team overall.
Jason Zucker with us for another minute or two. The line you've been playing with on the last couple of games here, at least with McLeod and with Quinn, you guys felt like every time you were on the ice on Sunday, you guys had the puck and were buzzing around. What do you like about those two? And especially for Quinn, he's a young player who's gone through some struggles. And I don't know, like this year he seems to be moving quicker. I don't know if that's something he changed, but what do you like about playing with both of them and then how Quinn's game has kind of developed here?
Yeah, Clowder and I played together quite a bit last year. I think, we built some chemistry. I love his game. His speed is second to none. I mean, it's incredible to watch how easily he just skates up the ice. He sees the ice really well. I think his game has grown significantly from game one last year until now. It's been really fun to watch, and I think he's going to be a big part of this organization for a long time. And with Quinn, everybody goes through struggles in this league, especially early. We can talk about this happening across the league with every team, with every prospect. There's very few that come in and just are the Sidney Crosbys of the world. And so it's tough to adapt to the league. And I think Quinny, had a great summer of training. I think he had the right mentality coming in that he was just going to try to play his game. And he's found some success. And I've played with him a lot of this year. And it's fun talking to him on the bench and kind of getting his aspect of just what he sees on the ice and the way that he plays. And he gets to open areas really well. He's making some great passes. The one he gave me a couple of games ago was incredible. And, he's just playing a really, really well-rounded game. And I think he looks faster. I think he's more confident with the puck. I think he's stronger on the puck. He's not getting knocked off pucks in battles. And I think overall, when you make little plays, you're going to gain more confidence. And I think his confidence is rising, and it's, again, been fun to watch, been fun to play with him.
Yeah, the drop pass in Chicago was definitely very nice. You mentioned Crosby. It's Pittsburgh tomorrow. You played with him for a few years. Are you in awe, or are you not surprised at all that he is still basically playing at the same level at this age that he always has been?
I'm not surprised at all. And everyone still is in awe of that. To give you an idea, I think playing with him was special. He's just an incredible person. Incredible player, but being able to do what he's done at that level for as long as he has is absolutely incredible. So it's fun to watch. I'm going to try to two-hand him a couple times tomorrow, see if I can get him off his game a little bit. But overall, it's hard to argue with anything that the guy's done in his career.
Well, good luck tomorrow night. Thanks as always, Jason, for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Jason Zucker on the Western Hotline. Sabres and Penguins tomorrow night in Pittsburgh.